There's only few days left for AMD's new CPU announcement on October 8th, and I thought, why not let's talk about what we know about the Ryzen 5000 series CPUs. And yes, they are naming it Ryzen 5000, not 4000, at least leaks are suggesting that. Now most of the things I'm gonna talk about in this video are based on all the leaks that we have gotten up until now. So everything I said in this video, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. So now that's out of the way, let's talk about what are the difference we are going to see from Zen 2 to Zen 3. The first change we are going to see is in the cache department. From some epic document we came to know, instead of using 16 megabytes of L3 cache for each 4 cores or each CC axis, AMD is going to use a 32 megabytes of L3 cache for each 8 core in a chiplet. And this time also AMD is going to use 2 chiplet per die in their desktop CPU. That means we are going to see up to 16 cores in Ryzen CPUs. Because of Zen 2's unique cache design, AMD was limited with a certain number of cores in the desktop CPUs because that cache design needed a certain symmetry with each CC axis. That means AMD only can make CPUs with 4, 6, 8 and 8, 12 and 16 cores. But now with Zen 3, because they are using a unified cache or a single block of cache, that means AMD has now a much more option when it comes to core configurations. Because now each chiplet can work as its own CC axis. That means AMD has option to make a CPU with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 16 cores. But I'm sure that we are not going to see a CPU with 5 or 7 cores, but we have gotten some leaks about a 10 core CPU. Now I think that AMD is definitely going to make a 10 core CPU, and if they make a 10 core CPU, then I can totally see them making a 14 core CPU. Now we have gotten a leak from a software engineer called Patrick Shore, and he said that there's 2 Ryzen CPUs that he got information about. One is a 5900X with 16 cores and another is 5800X with 8 cores. Now that is a leak, so as always take it with a grain of salt, but I think that is not what is going to happen. I think we are going to see a Ryzen 5700X with 8 cores, a 5800X with 10 cores, a 5850X with 12 cores, a 5900X with 14 cores and a 5950X with 16 cores. But now this is all my assumption, this is not a leak or anything, so you have to take it with a huge dose of salt. Second, we are getting a curve optimizer in BIOS with Zen 3. In Zen 2, if you want to overclock and change a clock speed of a certain core, then all the other cores adjust their clock speed by themselves, preventing that core to boosting it to its limits. And that is the reason why most of the people overclock all the core at a certain clock speed with Zen 2. But with curve optimizer, you can pick and choose which core should boost up to what clock. Simply AMD is giving you much more granular control over your overclock. Now the most important questions, are these CPUs going to support AM4 socket? And the answer is yes, these CPUs are going to support AM4 socket, but upwards of B450 chipset. Now, as we have seen in past, some vendors will give you the option to use these new CPUs with some older chipset of motherboard, but I will suggest you, if you are buying a 5000 series of CPUs, go with a 500 series of motherboard. The reason is pretty simple. The power or the VRAM design is much better with 500 series, and at the same time the curve optimizer option is only available with 500 series motherboard, and also PCIe Gen 4 capability is available with upwards of 500 series motherboards. One more thing, are we going to see new motherboards and when these CPUs are going to available to buy? Well, the first thing, no, we are not going to see new motherboard, at least right away, because there are no plans from AMD to launch new chipset of motherboards. I think probably we are going to see new motherboards at early 2021, because in January there is CES happening. Yes, it's gonna be an online event, but it's happening, and in that event AMD is hosting. So hopefully we are going to see new chipset of motherboards at CES 2021. And when it comes to availability of the CPUs, well, you're going to buy or able to buy this CPUs at late October or early November. So let me know in the comment section, are you guys excited about these new GPUs? If you ask me, yes, I am hell of excited. And if you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't, leave it a dislike, that works for me. And if you want to watch more videos from us, check out this video right here. And if you want to subscribe, well, you can do it by here, also by here. And there's Akash, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.